my name is Darlene Sandmark, and I'm here today to share the dispositions that I currently display in my classroom, as well as some areas of needed improvement. So first, with reflection, every summer I have a chance to sit back and reflect on the previous year. I sit down with my principal and she shares some areas of improvement, as well as sharing some feedback that I get from parent surveys. And reading all the information and absorbing all the information, I'm able to reflect and make some changes on ways to better myself as an educator for the incoming year. Next would be professional conduct. I carry myself in a very high standard, whether I'm engaging with my colleagues, with my admin, with students, or with parents. I think it's very important that I always stay professional, whether it's in the classroom, off school, events, anything where I might be seeing families or parents. My reputation speaks highly about who I am, so I always want to make sure that I'm acting in a professional manner. Next would be respect for the diversity of others. So this is a disposition that I embrace, I celebrate, I incorporate in my classroom. I would like to believe that my classroom mantra is, any kid that walks into my classroom, I want them to feel loved. I want them to feel accepted. And I always want them to be welcomed, regardless of our cultures, our languages, the way we look, our learning capabilities, maybe our weaknesses. I always want students to know that they are first and foremost created by God, unique in their own way. No two students are created the same, just like no two teachers are created the same. So I love to make sure that I'm always respecting the diversity. Next would be fairness. When it comes to my classroom, I like to build positive and trusting relationships with my students. I think it's vital that I understand my students, their personalities. As I'm guiding them, I always want to be fair. I always want to make sure that I'm not favoring one student over the other. I'm being a great listener, and I have a gentle heart when I'm doing so. Next would be advocacy. I believe that advocating for students' education is a vital component. As an educator, we are the voice for our students. There might be a student who can't speak up for themselves. There might be some, learning disabilities that parents might not have recognized, and because I spend a majority of the workday with the students, I kind of know them best and their own learning environment. So it's my job to make sure that I'm always advocating for my students. Next would be curiosity. I build curiosity in my classroom day to day by creating tasks, any sort of hands-on learning, higher level thinking, anytime that I allow my students to collaborate, whether it's with a partner or group work, anything that challenges them and just gets them kind of thinking outside of the box and kind of taking their own learning path into their own hands. Next would be honesty, being transparent sometimes, even when it's a difficult matter. It truly helps teachers with their professional growth. I feel like it's important to create an environment that's built on honesty, because honesty goes a long way in the educational world. We want to emulate being honest as a teacher. That way we can hold our students accountable to also be honest within their peers and just with throughout life, because I truly feel that we're only as good as our word is. Two that I feel I possess most, this would be dedication and compassion. And personally, I put a lot of time, energy, care, and intention into my classroom. From the way that my classroom looks, the warmth of the classroom, the activities that I provide for my students. I always want to make sure that my students feel loved and that they feel valued. I always want to make sure that I'm making learning fun for them. It can be grueling to sit there all day in front of your desk and just hear the teacher talk. So I make sure that with that, I'm taking into consideration maybe things that they want to learn about and different ways that just help me continue to be dedicated and compassionate. Because I am in a Christian school, I definitely feel like I get to share God's love with everyone. We get to pray daily, we get to worship, and we just get to love on one another as God intended. And I know not everybody has that, but I feel very blessed that I'm in that position. One area where I feel I need to work on is high expectations. I'm new to third grade. This will be my second year, so I'm still learning the standards and the curriculum. So I feel like my expectations maybe aren't quite there, but I have no doubt in my mind that I'm going to feel completely secure in that by the end of this school year. So I believe a professional educator will incorporate each of these into their classroom by holding these great examples as their moral compass. I will continue to use these dispositions as a guide and continue to be a lifelong learner. Going back for my master's is another way that I am showing and actively seeking to be a lifelong learner as I educate the future students of the world. Thank you.